purpose of this video is to show proof that what the Democrat Party is doing, they're trying to usher in and normalize socialism. And the reason why they're able to do this is because the education system, picture this. Could it be possible that the reason why the school systems, especially in blue cities and in blue states, is so terrible is because they don't want the students to learn about communism, socialism, about what a real dictator is, because that's the only way that they could use these words and have ignorant, and remember when I say ignorant, it just means lacking knowledge, have ignorant people saying, whoa, whoa, whoa. There's people who don't know what a dictator is. So when they hear them call Trump a dictator, they say, oh, yeah, or a fascist. Most people have no idea what a fascist is, or else they would have recognized the fascist things that Joe Biden and his administration were doing. So you got uneducated people hearing these words that they don't understand, but then they slip in these dog whistles like free food and free housing. Now the people understand what that means. And so they think like, right on, the other side is bad and you're here to help us, not knowing that it is always a subtle manipulation that leads to a big downside for the people. It's like income taxes. Back when the Democrat president, Woodrow Wilson, when they decided they were going to institute a national income tax, it was pitched to the people that it was only going to be on the top 1% for 1% of their income. So they sold it to everybody else like, hey, we're sick of these rich people getting over. So we're going to tax the rich. The top 1% will pay 1%. Look up today. And I don't care if you're on the poverty level or if you're rich. Everybody's paying income taxes now, as high as what, 6-7%? Not to mention, they even said, hey, that was working so good, we're going to throw in a state income tax, a state tax. Luckily, I live in Florida where we have good sense and we don't have that. Now, in this video, I'm going to show you that what the Democrat Party is doing, they realize that this whole push with Zohran Mamdani may not be the way that they need to go. So the Democrats are now trying to distance themselves or even expose this man in certain ways, but they know they can't go too hard, or else they'll turn off that radical left-wing extremist progressive base that seems to be spearheading and leading the Democrat Party. In that party, the radicals rule. And if you go against them, they'll attack you online. They'll dox your family. They may even physically harm you. But I want to show you something now. People know Zohran Mamdani as the guy running for mayor of New York and even challenging the president of the United States to a debate. Now, let's not forget, this man has only been in this country. He's been a legal resident 7 years. And before I even get off into him, he loves to talk about how he doesn't. Matter of fact, let me show you this clip about what he was in his previous career. A lot of people don't know this, but at one point, Zohran Mamdani, he had a fledgling career as a rapper. So let's check this out.
Go ahead, make a rap for your naughty. It's a rap. Get the guap, spin the rack on your naughty. Spin the rack. Gone through, give a dab to your naughty. If you're really feeling good, spin a track for your naughty. Go ahead, make a rap for your naughty. It's a rap. Get the guap, spin the rack on your naughty. Spin the rack. Gone through, give a dab to your naughty. If you're really feeling good, spin a track for your naughty. I
Now, if you haven't noticed what the Democrat Party is doing, as opposed to dealing with people with education, sound minds to be political leaders, what they've been going after is influencers and social media stars. How else does a Jasmine Crockett get to her seat? How else does an AOC who grew up as a little rich girl, but then decided that she's going to be from the Bronx because she moved there as an adult and calls herself this Bronx girl when she grew up in a suburban nice city hours away from the Bronx, as far away from poverty as you can imagine, with a father and a mother who did very well until her father passed away. She grew up in a very nice house. And Benny Johnson did a documentary breaking down her line, her facade. Same thing with Jasmine Crockett. She grew up very well off, went to a K through 12 high school where it cost $25,000, $30,000 a year to go there. And she went there her whole school career. Then it went to a very elite law school before trading all that in for big wigs and long eyelashes and Papa her neck to be a soul sister, because that's what the Democrat Party thinks the people want. They're so far disconnected from the people that they really felt like that's what black people want. That's what America wants to see. You even got some of the other politicians, you notice now they're all cursing, and their cursing sounds so out of place and so horrible and so unnatural that it's not working. So what did they do? They dig up Zohran Mamdani, an unknown person who was once wanted to be a rapper, and he loved to talk about how he can't stand this and can't stand capitalism. Check out this clip of him talking about capitalism, and then I'm going to break down to you who he comes from and what type of money he really comes from. Is he a poor guy just trying to do right as a civil servant, or is he a rich kid that's surviving off nepotism? I'll let you decide, but check this clip out.
So when people say democratic socialist, right, and I'm curious what you think this means. I mean, do you like capitalism?
No, I have many critiques of capitalism. And I think ultimately the definition for me of why I call myself a democratic socialist is the words of Dr. King decades ago. He said, call it democracy or call it democratic socialism. There must be a better distribution of wealth for all of God's children in this country. And that's what I'm focused on, is dignity and taking on income inequality. And for too long, politicians have pretended that we're spectators to that crisis of affordability. We're actually actors. And we have the choice to exacerbate it, like Mayor Adams has done, or to respond to it and resolve it, like I'm planning.
Now, he just spoke some truth. He even just admitted they're all actors. And one thing I can't stand is when these left-wing extremist politicians, they try to invoke Dr. King or something. What Dr. King talked about, he also said that he realized that he sold his people into a burning house by bending the knee and working with the Democrats, especially when he saw how much money was going into fighting an unnecessary Vietnam War. And he was saying, hey, if y'all got all of this money for wars, y'all are unable to help the poor people. That's what he was talking about. Not this whole thing where every single person should get an equal share just cause. Now, this man just said that he dislikes capitalism, but let's take a look into his family tree. This is his mother, Mira Nair. Now, in case you don't know it, Zohran Mamdani's mother is an Indian-American filmmaker who has a production company, Mirabai Films. She's also received nominations for the Academy Award. If you're enjoying this video, do me a solid. Hit that thumbs up, because I will never ask you for a Cash App or for a Super Chat. But you hitting that like button, it helps spread the information out. And if you aren't subscribed to the channel, subscribe. And whether you're subscribed already or you're subscribing now, make sure that you hit the notifications and you select all, because YouTube has been having an issue with getting notifications out. But when you select all, you'll be notified the next time I upload new videos. For Best Foreign Language Film and the BAFTA Award, Best Film Not in the English Language, this woman is all in with Hollywood, networks with them. That's who Zohran comes from. She's not some broke immigrant woman struggling. Let's talk about his father. His father is Mahmoud Mamdani. And who is his father? He's an academic author. He's the Herman Lehman Professor of Government and Professor of Anthropology, Political Science, and African Studies at Columbia University. So when he gets up there, he tries to act like he's relating to the poor. Your mom is a Hollywood director and your dad is a freaking professor of multiple majors at one of the most prestigious universities in the country, which also coincidentally was one of the most anti-Semitic colleges in the country, where at Columbia University, they were allowing Jewish students to get battered, bruised, get forced to stay in their housing, while also letting the radical students who are supposed to be there to learn just destroy and tear up the campus. He's the seed of these two people. So when he jumps up here and tries to act like he's just relating to the people, that's all BS and smoke and mirrors. And like he just said they're all actors. And he's not lying. He's telling the truth. Now, check out this clip here where he was on CNN with Abby Phillips. And you know she's a left-wing extremist. But even she had to call out what he was talking about with these government-ran grocery stores. Check this out.
Why is the government a better solution for a lack of grocery stores, food deserts, than just working with the private sector to have them do what they know how to do, which is run grocery stores? What's your answer to that?
There are more than 1,000 grocery stores in New York City. I'm proposing creating 5 additional ones, one in each borough of New York City that the city would run, and that would guarantee cheaper groceries, not free food, but cheaper groceries. And part of that is because food is a necessity for New Yorkers. It's a necessity for everyone. And yet it's something that people are being priced out of. And we can see the promise and the possibility of a public option. And we've seen in studies that have been done about the applicability of this in an urban setting like Chicago, that this is something we can actually deliver right here in New York City.
But there was another example in Kansas City where they had a government-run grocery store, and it's been there for years, but it's on the verge of closing because it doesn't work. They've been riddled with crime. They've dealt with just a lack of inventory. There are other examples where it just hasn't worked because, frankly, the government is not that good at being in the business of being in grocery stores.
Facts. Now check this story out here where it details that the government spends millions to open grocery stores and food deserts. The real test is their survival. And guess what? None of them have worked. They tried it in Kansas because they said, oh, no, this, that, the other. And they're going to promise the people that they're going to have more food and it's going to be lower prices and all of this crap. It doesn't work. As a matter of fact, whenever the government steps in and tries to run a business, it never works. It always fails. Now, when people wonder, is Zohran Mamdani really a radical? Because you got the mainstream media, again, trying to normalize him. I want you to take a few seconds and I want you to check out some of the most extreme things this individual has said. Check this out.
Here are just some of his plans for New York City. Watch.
And our police force should not be assisting ICE, defund the NYPD, and refund all of these different social services. And I will create a network of city-owned grocery stores. It's like a public option for produce.
I'll freeze the rent for millions of tenants, make buses fast and free, and deliver universal childcare. And before you ask, I'll pay for it by taxing the rich.
The mayor will use their power to reject Donald Trump's fascism.
Here are just some of his.
So you got this man saying that he's going to take money. As a matter of fact, he just came out and made a declaration that he's going to take tens of millions of dollars and also use it to fund the legal aid for illegal immigrants. So he didn't say a million to me, tens of millions of dollars to fund the legal aid of illegal immigrants to fight it out in immigration court. That's what his intentions are for New York. But it don't stop there. It gets even better. Now check out Cory Booker, who we know, the horrible senator from Maryland. Let's check out him as he tries to ditch and dodge the question of asking whether he supports Mamdani. Because please know this, Hakeem Jeffries, Chuck Schumer, none of the Democrat elite has endorsed this man. You know why? Because they know this is a failed mission. Everybody got so excited over the primary when we all know primaries, especially for local elections, are the least publicized, and for a reason. They know that local elections have the most impact on the city and on the state. So they don't publicize that. If you notice, every 4 years, they publicize the presidential election and they make ignorant people, lacking knowledge, feel like they really did something because they voted for president when that has the least impact on what happens in your city and your state senators, your state congressmen and women, your mayor, your city council, your sheriff, your school board members, your judges. That has far more of an impact. But they don't publicize that because can you imagine if local people got more involved in local politics? Oh my God, that would be the quickest way for the game to change. But they don't want it. And these Democrat elite, they know that this is like a test. This is the see. Okay, if this socialist wins in New York, you're going to see more socialists start being propped up and attempted to ran all over the country, just like in Minnesota, where you got that Somali individual running for mayor amidst all of the corruption going on in Minnesota, the $250 million in pandemic fraud. You got Ilhan Omar, who is an immigrant on $174,000 a year salary, who has a net worth of between $6 million as high as $30 million, who got married to an individual and has funneled all her campaign money into his business, helping prop him up. And guess what he is? A political consultant. This is the same woman who married her brother so he could become a legal resident in the country, but is now a member of Congress who has said publicly that she stands for Somalia before she stands for America. But they're trying to get away from this because these Democrats know if this fails, the party is over. They hope it fails because they know going towards socialism, that's not going to win. You got people who have fled and come to America from socialist countries that stand up and they make it known that they don't agree with it every chance that they get. But look at Cory Booker squirm.
You're seeing what's happening in your neighboring state in New York. Zohran Mamdani, he's the Democratic candidate, Democratic socialist candidate there. Democratic leaders are not supporting him. Is that a problem? Do you support him?
This is not a left-right issue. It really isn't. It is an authoritarian versus people who want pragmatic government that makes a difference in the lives of American people. I'm sorry. The left-right lens is not the right lens to look at this right now. Right now it is, can we get back to the pragmatic work of governing?
Specifically about Mamdani, are you going to support him?
I have learned a long time ago. Let New York politics be New York politics. We got enough challenges in Jersey. New York City, I love you. You're my neighbor. You're about 10 miles from where I live. You guys figure out your elections. I'm going to focus on mine.
See, they refuse to support it. And they always not a left thing or right thing. It's back to pragmatic work. Yeah, that pragmatic work got us $37 trillion in debt. That pragmatic work got people getting jabs stuck in their arm now that we know has all types of defects and impacts on people's health. That pragmatic work is also why we have crazy, insane crime rates in blue cities and blue states all over the country. So they want to get back to the good old business as usual because they had USAID slush funds. They were shipping money for all of these weird trans issues around the world while American citizens struggle and starve and deal with crime in their own backyard. And then add on top of that, the fact that they love to fight for illegal immigrants and criminals, but ask them to step up and represent for an honest, hardworking American that's patriotic to the country, they won't do it. Now back to Mamdani. Now check out this citizen who confronts Mamdani and tries to get him to reject Sharia law. And watch how he goes dumb like he doesn't understand what he means.
What is Sharia law? Yes, I'm denouncing them. I'm asking you. I'm running. I know, but I'm asking you. That's you're going to run for mayor. You have to denounce it. You denounce it.
What is Sharia law? I come from a political tradition Donald Trump describes as the enemy within. We came here to remake this state in the image of our people.
That's Mamdani right there with that on, saying he came here to make this state in the image of their people.
That's Sharia law. What is Sharia law? Yes, I'm denouncing them. I'm asking you. I'm running. I know, but I'm asking you. That's you're going to run for mayor. You have to denounce it. You denounce it.
What is Sharia law? Palestine! Free Palestine! Free Palestine!
Free Palestine.
Thank you so much, brothers and sisters. I have the honor. Thank you.
Now, for this man to be running for mayor of New York with with the high Jewish population that they have, how can any Jewish Americans vote for this man? Unless somehow they're not caring about their own people and they're just all in it for whatever they got worked out. But I don't believe that. Mamdani got 600,000 votes in their primary, which they orchestrated and pushed for that. There's 8.1 million people in the city of New York. I firmly believe that with all the radical talk this man is doing, it's going to bring out the big guns and he'll be voted down. The only thing that sucks in New York, they don't have one good candidate stepping up. But see, Zohran Mamdani jumps on TV and he puts on that smile and he tries to talk all cool. But this is the real Zohran Mamdani.
How many more New Yorkers not torn? Do you believe in the First Amendment? Do you believe in the First Amendment? How many more New Yorkers not torn?
Since when would a politician want to act like that? But yeah, he's calm. Now listen to this, as he's going to denounce the whole movement that the Democrat Party has been on with the whole Palestine thing with Al Sharpton. That just goes to show you these folks are liars. They don't care about anything. He threw his own movement under the bus just to try to save face. And it's bad when you got Al Sharpton lying, flip-flopping, fake hoaxing, racial issue self calling you out on the way that you speak. Check this out.
No views on the phrase of global infiltrator changed since you've been running for mayor? Do you understand those that see it in a more threatening way than saying, I'm just not going to police other people's language?
Yes, they have. And when we won the primary election, I said on that stage that I know that millions of New Yorkers care deeply about what happens in Israel and Palestine, and I'm one of those New Yorkers. And I commit to reaching even further to understand disagreement, to wrestle with the complexities of those differing viewpoints. Because what this city deserves is a mayor that looks not only to represent the close to 600,000 New Yorkers that voted for me, but rather the 8.5 million people that call this city home. And in the meetings that I have had since that moment, I've met with Jewish elected officials, with rabbis, with community leaders. And there was one rabbi that spoke to me about how that phrase for her brought back memories of bus bombings in Haifa, of restaurant attacks in Jerusalem. And I knew that from what she was sharing with me that she had a fear, as she said, that could come home to New York City. And so in having that conversation with her, I knew that the gap between the intent that I have heard some New Yorkers share with the use of that language of calling for the end of the Israeli occupation of Palestinian land was disconnected from the impact it was having in that same conversation I was having with that rabbi. And so I have said, after having that conversation, that this is language I would discourage.
Yeah, it might be language you discourage, but it's not an ideology he discourages. You see how he skated around that? Because intifada means eradication of all. They want eradication of a certain group of people all over the world. They scream out stuff from the river to the sea. Those are all things that they want the blood of another race of people. Now, listen to this, what he has to say about prisons. And this will really blow your mind. And it gives you an idea of what New York is in for, or what the country is in for. If we don't beat these socialists back and stand strong and firm and helping other people realize why patriotism, America first, and making America great again is the only movement for this country.
Are prisons obsolete?
Whew, coming through with the quotes, coming through with the titles of the books. I have to read that, actually. I haven't read that as yet. But I think that, frankly, what purpose do they serve?
Right.
I think we have to ask ourselves that, which is that, I think a lot of people who defend the carceral state, they defend the idea of it and the way it makes them feel.
Yeah, it makes us feel good knowing that somebody who's taking the lives of people won't be walking around on the street anymore. Somebody who carjacked an old lady and knocked her upside the head, took her stuff, will have to sit down for the next 15 or 20 years to think about it. And see, these folks make me sick. They get up there and talk like that, but if you watch them, they have all types of armed security and armed guards around them. And if something happens to them or a member of their family, they're not saying, you know what, let them out. Matter of fact, let them out and put them in the house next door to me. No, they're quietly saying, put them away. Remember something, the Democrat Party are the ones responsible for the crime bill that incarcerated not just mass incarcerated black people, but any person that had a drug problem of any kind that got caught with soft versus hard went to prison. And that's not a racial thing. That was a classism thing. At the end of the day, those types of drugs were found in certain neighborhoods. Didn't matter what racial. I don't care if it's a trailer park or the projects. And these are Democrats. The whole, this whole agenda, every time they want to put a war on something, it gets worse. And right now we've got socialists trying to call our president to debate as if he, only been in this country 7 years, pushing a socialist agenda, even deserves the courtesy of our president even engaging him at all. Matter of fact, we have to continue to represent and stand tall. This is just the beginning. So you may say, well, what does that have to do with you? If you're not careful, you'll be having a socialist pop up in a city near you trying to push the line and take place and take office. And the moment we start letting socialists run in political positions, that's a direction that the country does not need to go in. And with you, I, and millions of other people that see this threat for what it is and are doing everything we can to ring the alarm bells and wake people up, we'll be able to beat them back and continue into the golden age that America is looking at right now. And that's just what it's about. So if you stuck in with me and you watch this, I really do appreciate you. Leave a comment. Tell me what you think about not just Mamdani, but this socialist view of everybody deserves equal that the Democrats are pushing. Are you for it or are you against it? And if you are still here, do me a solid. Hit that like button again. Thank you from the top and the bottom of my heart for you hanging in there with me. If you aren't subscribed to the channel, subscribe. Most importantly, I want you to stay safe and you be great. I'm Brian Maxwell saying I look forward to seeing you at the top. Over and out, y'all.